It's Christmas Eve, 1945, in a small town in West Virginia. The Sodder family, like many others, was preparing to celebrate the holidays. Little did they know that night would mark the beginning of a nightmare that would haunt them for decades. Late that night, the Sodder home went up in flames. Firefighters were quick to arrive, but by the time they did, the house had already been engulfed. What was left behind was a charred shell of the home, but the real mystery was about to unfold. Despite the fire's destruction, there was something strange about the aftermath. Although the house had burned to the ground, the bodies of the 5 missing children were nowhere to be found. Authorities assumed they had perished in the fire, but their parents, George and Jenny Sodder, weren't convinced. As the days passed, more oddities began to surface. George Sodder made a chilling discovery. The telephone line that could have been used to call for help had been cut. The family's truck, which was normally parked in the driveway, had mysteriously disappeared that night as well. Even stranger, in the days following the fire, Jenny Sodder received a phone call. A man on the other end of the line claimed to know where the children were and warned her to stop asking questions. The voice was distorted, and the call abruptly ended. The family's suspicions were further fueled when they discovered something chilling. A strange man had been seen hanging around the house in the days leading up to the fire. One witness reported seeing a car parked near the Sodder home, its driver looking strangely out of place. A breakthrough came when the Sodders received a photograph in the mail showing what appeared to be their children alive and well, standing with a man who was known to be a local criminal. This image, which seemed to have been taken recently, would become one of the most haunting pieces of evidence in the case. Many theories emerged in the following years. Some believed the children had been kidnapped, others suspected a vengeful act. Theories ranged from mafia involvement to a tragic misunderstanding, but none could explain the lack of remains found in the fire. Years later, George received another phone call. This time, the caller claimed to know where the children were, offering a cryptic message. But before he could ask more, the call was cut off, leaving George with even more questions. Despite decades of searching and numerous leads, the mystery of the Sodder children remains unsolved. Their fate continues to haunt the family, and to this day, the burning question remains: what really happened to the 5 Sodder children on that fateful Christmas Eve? The case of the Sodder children is just one of many mysteries that haunt our world. Some mysteries are solved with time, while others remain forever buried in the dark, unanswered and unexplained. But one thing is certain: those 5 children and their family will never be forgotten.